Hello, underlings. Welcome to the second episode of GOUT'S BOUTS. No, I'm not Gout, obviously. I'm his biggest uni fangirl. Did you write this?
I mean,
Oh my God, you're pathetic. Why am I here, exactly?
well, do you want the existential answer or the physiological one?
My God, whatever's shortest.
Eye candy.
Okay, you realize no one can see anyone? I'm going to ignore the low-key misogyny and move on. Who is your opponent today?
Well, Uniwars are an imaginative bunch. And have you checked the demographics? There's a lot of incels.
Not Jeff.
And no harm in pandering for the likes, you know?
Whatever. Your opponent?
Today we have Flying Dutch, an honorable warrior that I've fought a few times.
What's with the name?
I think it's a secret menu item at In-N-Out Burger. A cheeseburger sans buns, or it's what they call it when you hover over a public toilet to take a Also, in a way, sans buns.
I definitely have flown Dutch before. Moving on, though.
Here's the map, created by Miami Moose and other collaborators from the basement. This was one of the most fun maps I've played since coming back to Uniwar from a 2-year hiatus. And I think it perfectly illustrates why mirrored tourneys can be more dynamic than random play, and hope to impress on the underlings how every move and every build is important in mirrored tourney play.
Isn't there a revenge feature in random games, though? What's the diff?
Well, in order for maps to remain in the random rated pool, they have to be balanced for all races in P1 and P2, which tends to lead to a not very diverse pool, in my opinion.
Too much P in the pool?
Regardless of the map's balance, there's almost always some small advantage to one side or race somewhere. So if both players play optimally, one wins and the other revenges and gets all the points back. So it sometimes feels like a big old waste of time. With mirrored games, you can throw that all out the window. Balance isn't really the issue. How fun the map is what matters. If you split the matches, whoever wins most efficiently gets the points. Sorry for the rant.
No, it's interesting. So why don't they get rid of revenge and just make a mirrored ladder to determine ELO points?
Well, you should write to your congressperson or Pashaka about it.
Okay, so this map, which was so fun, was used in the January 2025 championship tourney, a mirrored tourney, and you took 4th place. That's hot.
I think the Kraken just started to surface. Well, anyway, but I've been bested by the same player in every tourney since coming back.
Not hot.
Damn you, Michael Cho. The Kraken submerges.
Okay, weirdo. We can unpack that later. Let's bring up the matches.
I thought you'd never ask. So on the left, I'm P1 Sapiens. And on the right is the mirror, where I'm P2 Titans. P1 starts with 2 bases, 200 credits, 1 sausage swinger, and there are 6 uncapped bases. That's what makes the map fun. How and which bases do you try to get? Which base would you go for? First turn.
I don't know. I'm not a very good color commentator.
So you're saying you're ADEI higher.
Idiot, that's not even funny.
Well, let's start with the easy part. What to build. 200 credits. Your choices are really either 2 Marines or 1 Fuse. And with so many open bases, it seems better to put 2 more units on the board rather than 1. Now for the starting Marine, there are 3 bases he can reach. If you cap the top base, the fastest you can cap the middle base is in 3 turns, with either the Marine you build on the far right base or a Marine you build from the top base. But he can build a Mantis on his first turn, with which he could reach that base faster or along with another unit. Stop your cap. If you cap the bottom base, you are further from the top base, and Mantis from either the left base or harbor will be trying to stop your cap on the middle base. So to my eye, the best base to cap is the middle base.
Okay, got it. And on the right, in the mirror, he opened the same way. How did you respond as Titans?
So as player 2, also 3 bases can be capped. And with the imminent fuse coming, I would follow the same logic and recommend capping the middle base. 200 starting credits plus another 250 credits from the 2 bases and 1 city. So I'm going to build 2 mechas and a mantis on the left harbor, which puts as many pieces on the board as possible. The mantis can hit whatever is built on the base player 1 is capping, can threaten to cap the top base, and in general will have better mobility on this map over a speeder.
And on the left, he opens the same way as Titans. Are you guys just going to copy each other the whole time?
I often delay submitting my turn to avoid copycats, but I think this is where our games start to diverge. On the left, as saps, I have 300 credits from the 3 capped bases. I built a marine and a fuse. The marine in the middle of 2 empty bases, and the fuse on the harbor. In range to hit any build on his base, and 2 moves away from capping the bottom base. I move my marine onto the marsh, heading towards the empty bottom base. And there are 3 hexes in range of the open base where I could move my other marine. I chose this one, and we'll see why that's important in a minute.
This suspense is killing me. In the other game, he decided to move his marine onto the city and build a fuse on the bottom left base.
And I think that's a mistake, and he's losing tempo, even though he'll earn 50 extra credits for the city. Moreover, his fuse is the same distance from the open base as the fuse I built on the harbor in the other game, but he doesn't have the option of hitting my build.
And he put his other marine on this hex.
Let's return to the game on the left. So he ports a mecha to the top mountain in range to cap the empty base. He hits my marine with his mantis. He builds another mantis in the center, and he has to port his other mecha to the bottom to stop my marine from advancing. Otherwise, that marine and my fuse are in range to stop a cap on the bottom base.
In the game on the right, you hit his marine. You build another mantis in the middle. You teleport up top to the same mountain, and you teleport down bottom to the mountain.
Since he didn't advance his marine onto the marsh like I did, I don't need to port to the forest and block him, and I ported to the mountain.
Is that so you can cap the bottom base with the mecha?
Among other options.
The anticipation builds. I guess we'll see in the next round. Shall we turn back to the game on the left?
Yes, I capped the open base with my 3 health marine. I can use that marine because, unlike him, I built a fuse on the harbor on the right. I hit his mantis with my fuse, and now it can't stop the cap. And remember the other marine that I put on the lowest of 3 hexes? I don't have to use that full health marine to cap now, and he is able to cross to the other quadrant. He is now in range to cap the blue base, or help stop a cap on the bottom base. And because of zone of control, he prevents a mantis from capping the bottom base. A mantis from the base doesn't have enough movement to go over the city and cap. It has to go over the forest hex, which is now blocked. It's almost as if I planned the whole goddamn thing out.
Show off.
And I'll build another marine in the center, so his mantis can't cap my base. And another fuse on the harbor, because I like that attack bonus I get from the marsh by his center base, as I'm putting a tremendous amount of pressure on his center base.
Riveting analysis. But can we go back to the other game with your ported mecha?
Anticipation is a natural aphrodisiac.
Pervert! You're the only one in here that's wet. Can we get back to the matches?
Well, if I dive into deep analysis, I'm bound to get a little wet. It's the nature of the beast, especially at my age. In the match on the right, he has to cap the center base with his 10 marine. Since he doesn't have a fuse in range of my mantis, it will remain full health and could stop a 3 marine from capping. He puts the 3 marine on the city, builds a new marine, and advances his fuse in range to cap the bottom base. And that fuse on the harbor, that's a surprise.
Why? We know he likes to hover.
Ha, now that's funny. I was expecting he would build another fuse on the bottom left base and use 2 fuses to stop my mantis from capping, getting damaged in the process, and then my mecha would attempt to cap the following round.
Wait. You planned that out beforehand?
Ever since he put his marine on a different hex than mine and built a fuse on the bottom left rather than the harbor. It's called foresight.
There's not a lot of guys in the US with foresight.
It's much more common in Europe. I guess that's the irony, since he's the one flying the Dutch flag.
Yeah, that is ironic. Most guys from the US are circumspect.
With no foresight.
So why does it matter if the second fuse is on the harbor or the bottom left base?
Well, if you don't remember, and I'm guessing maybe he didn't, my mecha comes out of cooldown on my turn, and now with zone of control, that fuse can't hit my mantis, which will cap the empty base. I'll also hit his 10 marine on the base. It's not worth killing the 3 marine and then getting smashed by a full health marine next turn. My mantis is also in range to cap the empty center base. And so is the mecha I built. And I'll build another mantis on the harbor. And the mecha I ported up top is also coming out of cooldown and is in range to cap the empty base up there.
Okay, let's look at what our Dutchman does as Titans. Back to the left. So as you said, your marine is blocking his mantis from capping the bottom base, and you would have 3 units in range to stop the cap anyway. So he caps the middle base with the 4 mantis. He hits your marine on the center base and builds a mecha on his center base and a mantis on the far right base.
And I really don't like that. I mean, as a strategy. As an opponent, I'm good with it. I just think building on the harbor and being able to hit whatever is built on the center base is really useful. I guess he's thinking it would be harder for me to block a mantis from capping if it comes from the right. Or maybe he wants the option to move on to the city.
You want to walk us through your next move as saps?
I hit his mecha on the bottom to burn through some of the RNG chain and set up my next attack. I ping the mecha on the base with my 4 fuse, some more damage from my marine on the mountain, and then +2 ganged up bonus from the marsh with my fresh fuse kills the mecha. And that marine that I built first turn then moved to the bottommost possible hex, my second turn, and crossed the water to block his mantis from capping, is now able to cap his base, and he doesn't have anything to stop it. And that's pretty much GG. I now will have 4 bases to his 2, and an engineer build. Within touch distance of a Titan base is brutal on a low credit map. I build a marine and marauder, which he will need to block in order to cap the top base with his mecha on his turn. And I should get to kill a mantis on my next turn, and then continue to build pressure on his remaining bases.
Yeah, the end seems nigh here. Let's see what he does as Titans on the right.
Let's watch what he does on the right and then walk through it.
Okay.
He hits my mecha on the mountain. Hits my fresh mecha build, finally move the marine off the city and towards my base. Caps with his 3 marine, and builds a marine, marauder, and a fuse. Since I capped the bottom base with a full health mantis, I am thin on units on the bottom. I need to be careful because he has 3 fuse and a marine in range of my bottom base. And he has 2 fuse, a marauder, and a marine in range of my middle base. And his fuse is in range to cap the 2 middle bases. So obviously I need to stop his cap. And I'm going to take out his 10 marine with my mantis and mecha from the forest. Otherwise his 10 marine could move over the mountain to hit my 7 mecha that I will cap with. The mecha on the forest hex also blocks his marauder from hitting my 7 mecha from the city. And then I build a fresh mecha on my base to block the marauder from the other direction. I sacrifice my 5 mecha to deal 3 damage to his fuse. This will make it unlikely that he can kill my 10 mecha using his marauder and fuse. But even if he were to do that, my 7 mecha that is capping will block his other fuse from capping my base. And I build a mecha on 2 other bases.
That seems like a light build.
I'm saving credits for next turn.
Okay, let's hop back to the other game on the left. He caps the top base and bottom base, hits your 10 Marine, moves his Mantis onto the city. So I guess that's why he built it on the right. And he builds another Mantis and mecha. Anything you want to add?
Sometimes it's better to just let your movements do the talking.
Please don't make me sit here in awkward silence with you.
It's only awkward because of our palpable sexual tension.
Okay, Zadi. Really? Zadi? I hate it when you make me say things.
Well, it would help if you pronounced things correctly. But anyway, moving on. I sacrifice my Marine, and the Uniwar gods bless me with a great RNG chain. My Marauder is able to stop his cap. His other cap is easy to stop. And I bring out the Engineer, and in round 5, that about does it. He calls Uncle.
I thought you were Zaddy. What round are we in on the other game?
Round 5, his move as Sapiens.
He opts to hit your Mantis with his Marauder. He moves his 4 Marine onto the mountain, in range to cap next turn since your mecha is blocking his path to the base. He takes both of your mechas down to 2.
And this is why I banked credits last turn. He has 2 units that can cap my bottom base, 5 units that can hit it, and 7 units that can hit my middle base, as well as 2 that could cap it.
So foresight?
Either you have it, or you don't. I'm going to clear his Marauder, and it will give my mecha veterancy, and he won't be able to clear my mecha, so I can cap the top base, and his 4 Marine can't stop it. With my banked credits, I have 600 this turn, and I build an Eclipse and 2 mechas. I poured a mecha to the mountain so his top Marine on the base can't move over the mountain and hit either of my mecha builds. I block the fuse on the harbor from being able to hit my Eclipse with my 2 mecha. This way only 3 fuse can hit my Eclipse, and he won't be able to clear it and cap with the 7 Marine. The ported mecha prevents him from clearing the top mecha on the base unless he uses the fuse on the heel hex. So the mecha on the top base will prevent the fuse on the heel hex from capping the other base, which means he can only cap that base with the 7 fuse. And I should be able to stop that because he can't damage both my 10 mecha and 10 Eclipse enough to prevent me from stopping his cap.
I can't visualize what you're saying.
Well, it would look something like this. The Marine and fuse take out the bottom mecha on the base. The other 10 Marine moves to the city to block the Mantis from reaching the other city where it could hit the cap. A full health Eclipse could one-shot a 7 fuse, so he would need to lower it. And a 10 mecha with gang up could also kill a 7 fuse, so need to lower him as well. And still an easy stop.
Okay, I see now.
And he sees as well. And that's all she wrote.
Wow, that took so long to get through 5 rounds.
Stamina has never been an issue for me. But you can imagine how much focus and time it would take for mirror matches that go on for 15, 20, or more rounds. It's a lot of work, especially if you have a life.
Right, I'm sure you do. Speaking of which, can I get out of here now?
Well, let me introduce our special guest, Miami Moose, for the outro music.
Talk about Zaddy.
I have a feeling I'm about to get cucked on my own show.
Flying high through Dutch city limits in minutes. I'm eating spinach, cockeyed Popeye, sweet with P&I, rubbing olive oil on some rando called Blue Toe Guy. I think he's finished.
Ooh.
I had a bout with nuts from my nostalgic Gout's sick. I believe it's untreatable, cause even though you ride with him, he'll throw you out the vehicle.
Oh my god, that's so hot. He must have majored and lit.
I can see through his tank top. He's got straight A's.
Maximum overdrive. He's rolling like a Mack truck, swerving through life. Face down, pillow mask, ass up. Miami Moose, except no impersonator. I'll show up and serve the seam in the end, but see you later.
Terminator.